Hola chicos, soy señorita Schaefer y hoy vamos a hablar de la gramática 2B y vamos a hablar del pretérito de verbos regulares. Si quieres ver más información del pretérito de verbos irregulares, puedes ir a página 110. La pregunta importante de esta lección is, how do we use regular verbs in the past tense? Now, for a lot of you, this will be review. If you were in Honor Spanish 1 last year, did the packet. For some of you coming from another Spanish 2 class, maybe you've seen these before. We're just going to review them all together today to prepare us for delving further into the past tense in Spanish this year. So if you would please go ahead and write out that question at the top of your notes and then leave some space for your answer. We'll go ahead and get started. To talk about actions that were completed in the past, we'll use the preterite tense. To form the preterite tense of a regular verb, we add the preterite endings to the stem of the verb. So just like you've done in the past, we're going to find out what the stem is, and we do that by cutting off the AR, the ER, or the IR. So in this situation, we're going to use the word mirar. Oh, sorry, that's a big fat pen. Mirar means to look at or to watch, and it's an AR verb, so we'll cut off the AR to find our stem. And then aprender. Aprender means to learn, so we'll cut off the ER and our stem is aprend. Now you'll remember that ER and IR verbs in the preterite tense have the same endings, so we can just do an ER one and that'll count as our IR as well. So if you would go ahead and write these down in your notes, and that way you'll have these examples to work with as well. So for AR verbs, we have miré, miraste, miró, miramos, mirasteis, and miraron. Sounds a little bit weird with both R's. So our endings on AR verbs are hasta o, amos, estáis, aron. For ER and IR verbs, they kind of are similar, but just a little bit different. So we have aprendí, aprendiste, aprendió, aprendimos, aprendisteis, and aprendieron. Y, iste, io, imos, istais, ieron. Please make sure you have those examples and endings written down, and then we'll move on to the next slide. Just a couple of things to note here. First of all, note that AR and ER verbs that have a stem change in the present tense do not have a stem change in the preterite. We'll talk about IR verbs later. You don't need to worry about those right now. But AR and ER verbs that do have a stem change in the present do not have the stem change in the preterite. We do not stem change in the preterite. Also, reflexive verbs function in the same way in the preterite tense as they do in the present tense. So we'll just look at an example here quickly. Generalmente me pruebo la ropa antes de comprarla. That's our present tense verb. A couple of things that I want to point out here. Because probarse is the verb, just like we would do in the present tense, they went ahead and took the same, moved it out front, and changed it to the appropriate thing. So we have me. The other thing that I want to point out is that probarse is an O to UE stem changer. So you can see the O to UE stem change here. And then it'll be just a little bit different in the preterite because we don't stem change. So, generalmente me pruebo la ropa antes de comprarla, before I buy it. Pero ayer no me probé los pantalones que compré. And this is another past tense as well. So just like in the present tense, the reflexive verb is going to work the same way. They took the say off the end and moved it out front and changed it to the right thing. But we do not have the stem change in the past tense. Generally, I try on clothes before I buy it, but yesterday I did not try on the pants that I bought. Another detail that I want to talk about before we move on today, we'll do this and then one more and we'll finish up, is the verb ver. Ver has regular preterite endings, but unlike those of other verbs, they have no written accent marks. And that's what makes ver just a little bit different. So if you look at the verb ver, to find the stem, you'll cut off the ER, and that leaves you just with the V. And then we'll go ahead and add our ER, IR endings without the accents. So we have vi, viste, vio, vimos, visteis, and vieron. Y'all might remember as well that the word dar is the exact same way. They actually, even though it's AR, they use ER, IR endings. So it's the exact same as ver, but with a D. Di, diste, dio, etc. Dimos, distes, dieron. Just a little honors cloud of knowledge thing for you with dar there. You don't actually, it's not actually in our chapter this time. The last thing that I'd like to talk about today is verbs that end in cargajar, have a spelling change in the preterite. You guys might remember our little pirate friend. Cargajar are our pirate verbs in Spanish. And remember that pirates say yo-ho. So we're only going to change these in the yo form, in the preterite tense. In buscar, the C changes to a QU. In pagar, the G changes to a GU. And in almorzar, or anything else ending in cargajar, the Z changes to a C. And this is just to preserve the way that we say things, because the letters C, G, and Z change how they sound depending on the vowel that follows them, and we don't want them to change. So our yo form of buscar would be busqué. Pagar, to pay, would be pagué. And then almorzar, to eat lunch, to say I ate lunch, would be almorcé. You keep your accents and everything, and remember it's only in the yo form. We have a little example down here to look at. ¿Pagaste mucho por tu suéter nuevo? Did you pay a lot for your new sweater? No, no pagué mucho. Lo encontré en una liquidación. No, I didn't pay much, and that's that word that we're looking at there. I found it on sale. Hopefully this video has been a good refresher for you of how we use regular verbs in the past tense. Hopefully it sparks some memories from last year. If I were you, I would just go ahead and write down, find the stem, just like we do in the present tense, and then I would add my endings. Aste, o, amos, estáis, aron. And then the ER, IR verbs are very similar. Iste, yo, imos, isteis, ieron. I would also mark down for myself the pirate verbs, cargarzar. And if I were you, I would add in my conjugations of ver as well. Remember that there are no accents on the verbs for ver. Gracias por escuchar hoy, chicos. Como siempre, si tienes preguntas, por favor, escríbenlas so that you can remember to ask in class or in help class when we talk about this next. Gracias y hasta luego.